Okay, so the next topic we're going to try is snacks or snack foods. Okay, I think this one is a pretty easy topic overall. I don't know how much you like eating, but let's give it a try. So the first question is obviously, what kind of snacks do you like to eat?
Let's think about it. Indeed, I'm not had really a lot to talk about that because I don't like eat the snacks. Yeah, because I just think that the 3 meals is very important in one day, and I think the nutrition is most more is more concentrate on in the main meals than the snacks. I think the snacks is not very good for health. Just because I think they are too greasy, too a lot of sweet food like the chocolate, like the big biscuit and the crisps. Yes, that's not good for health and could let people to become the fat. Yeah, yeah.
You're thinking obese, right?
Yeah, a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, good. I think that's a very good answer. The fluency may be a little bit lower than what you want, but in terms of content, very good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess actually a lot of the questions are things like, do you think it's healthy to eat snacks? So you've see, that's a good thing when you already answer a lot of the questions automatically that I don't have to ask.
Yeah.
Right? So in that case, the next question I would ask is, well, what about when you were young? When you were younger, before you were so interested in health, did you eat many snacks? And what kind of snacks did you eat?
Yeah. Yeah. When I'm younger, personally, I think I just very like the chocolate bars. So I I offered the consequence because that is I have a lot of bad teeth in my mouth. I often go to the dentist clinic for several times. It's a very sad memory. Yeah. 我不知道，说完了吧？
没问题。对对，我有时候就是听不出，就是你什么时候说完的，因为平常是这样子，你如果一个句子说完了，或者一个整个话题说完的时候，你最后尾巴应该是有个比较低的音。就是
哦，OK，
你用你的口音来表达出我就是这个话题讲完了，对吧？
哦
但是如果你是往上升的话，我就是好像感觉就是你接下来要把这个话题延长了。
哦，对对对对
对对，这不要紧。So my next question is, would you allow your children to have snacks?
Okay, that's a good question. And the conflict between always the conflict between my and my daughter. She all children always like the sweet or the snacks like the chocolate ice cream or the crisps. But I think in her age, that not very good for her health, such as the crisps especially. But I think in the childhood, the children need some sugar as well because it could help the development of her brain. So I think and give her some snacks like the contain sugar that is good for her.
All right. And do you have any specific preferences for snacks? Are there any differences between Australia and China?
You mean the difference between the snacks,
Yeah.
the snacks difference between two countries?
Yes.
Okay. The obvious impression that is content of sugar. That is the feeling of the sweet. I think in China the dark chocolate is a little sour and not nearly not have the sense of the sweet. But I think in Australia, I bought original chocolate, but it's too sweet. I couldn't bear it. I couldn't bear it. So I always choose the dark chocolate in Australia. I think I can bear it. And I think the dark chocolate in Australia equals the normal or the original chocolate in China.
Right. Okay, so here we can, there's a couple of little things that we can fix up. Right. So the original chocolate which you're talking about, in here over here we call that milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate.
That's the regular type, I think, right? Now, you also said, some types, right? Some so types. What you said was, I bought some types.
Okay.
Right. Now, this is where, you can kind of show off a bit more of your native knowledge. Like, for example, you could have said something like, I bought some at Cadbury or Nestle chocolate.
Oh, yes.
Or I bought a Mars bar or something like that. Again, that makes your answer feel a little bit more real, because we're talking about very common examples, which everyone knows.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't have to be true, right? Maybe you didn't buy a Mars bar, but it doesn't matter. When you say, instead of saying, because what happens is if you don't give examples and things like this, you end up just saying the word chocolate over and over again.
Okay.
Right. Like, I like chocolate. I went to the shop to buy some chocolate. I'll let my daughter have some chocolate, right. You just, you end up just repeating the same main keyword too many times. So that's sometimes you just substitute for, a random brand or something like that, right? It gives you a bit more variety.
Okay.
In your speech. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. But I think overall that was a pretty good response. No problems there at all.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. The next topic I would like to try is flowers. Again, flowers.
A flower?
Yeah. A bit of a strange topic.
Yes, because I couldn't know many names of the flower. Yeah.
That's okay. Now, if you feel, the truth is, this is not a common topic.
Yeah.
Right. So if you want, you can, of course, go online and, just Google a bunch of different flower names and memorize them if you want.
Yeah.
Right. But there is a question, is it worth doing that? Because there's a very low chance if you go into an exam room that they're going to ask you these questions.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're talking about your study priority, maybe this one is not too high on the list. Right. But let's see, right? Because maybe you're not an expert at flowers. You probably don't know too many names, but your conversation topic may not actually be talking about all the different types of flowers. Does that make sense? Right. So for example, you could start talking about flowers. You could say, if I was asking you, what's your favorite flower? That's when you could say, I like daisies or roses or chrysanthemums or whatever.
Yeah.
But here you think, my vocabulary is very limited. I don't know many types.
Yeah.
But if I ask you a different question, like what kinds of special occasions would you like to give or receive flowers? Here, that kind of answer doesn't need you to really name a lot of different flowers. You'll be naming different situations where you would give flowers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. So if you get a question, right, you want to think, what types of examples am I happy giving it? Right. And if you've already got an answer prepared, if you've got some idea in your head about what you want to talk about, you can always turn the conversation towards that particular topic. Right. Yeah. And don't worry, after we do this exercise, I'll give you a quick example of that. Okay. So we'll start with the most simple question. Do you like flowers?
Yes, I think it's absolutely yes. Because I think every girl or young or the women like the flowers because it represents or shows the beautiful life and the light and the light future.
All right. So what do you mean by light future?
But no,
bright future.
Bright future.
Yes. What I mean is, what do you? Why does it represent a bright future? That's the part that I'm not too sure about.
Yeah, I think it could make people to feel very happy, and it have the representation of the lucky, the happiness, and the good future.
All right, I see.
It could bring you the lucky with you always. It will filling with the wishes.
Excellent. All right. Well, obviously, are there any specific flowers that you like?
Pacific.
Is there any specific type of flower that you like?
What time or the situation you mean?
Oh, no, I meant what type of flower. So like a rose, a daisy,
Yeah.
a sunflower. Yeah.
I think I'm old-fashioned or the traditional women. So I like the rose, and particular the red rose very much, because I think it represents romantic and the enthusiastic. So when the two important times I very like to receive the flower. One is my birthday, and one is Valentine's Day. So I think the red rose is very fit for this two situation.
Okay, so that I think is a very strong answer. Because the original question is just what kind of flowers you like, but you covered a lot of topics there, like are there any special occasions?
Yeah.
Or what something represents and when you like to receive them. Those were actually some of the next questions I wanted to ask you, right? So now you're saving me a lot of time. I don't actually have to ask those questions, but you're also showing that you can develop a topic in a very logical way. Yeah, perfect. Good. Right. And like I said, talking about experience and talking about real situations like Valentine's Day or your birthday, that's where you're getting a lot of your marks from.
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. So next question would be, I want to talk a little bit about the culture of flower giving. Is giving flowers part of Chinese culture?
I think it's not very popular in China than in the Western countries. Yeah, because I think in China people always to foster or the build flowers at home. They always have the lovely garden or the build the foster the flowers and the balcony, but they always don't like to send the flowers to others. They prefer to send the gift or the long-term gift to anyone else. It could be let the people remember them all the times. But in the Western country, I think the people more romantic. They will give the flowers with a card and write down some romantic sentences on it. I think it's a very beautiful time.
Well, other than romance, do you think there's any other function of flowers? Like, are there any other other non-romantic situations where you think flowers are, let's say, culturally important?
Okay, I think the culture between these two countries that is different. The realistic or the romantic, and the romantic. I think in China, people more likely be realistic， 就是比较现实或者是
realistic.
Oh, realistic. And in the Western countries, they prefer a sense of or the emotion. They prefer that is more important.
So you think flowers are connected to emotions?
Yes.
Now, this is an interesting idea, but it's very difficult to explain.
Yes.
So normally, if I was going to say that flowers are connected to emotions, for example, I would want to give some examples of maybe specific flower types and what kind of situation or what they represent. Right.
Okay.
So let me give you an example of that. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
for example, there's a common, if I said flowers are attached to emotions, right? So earlier I said that, quite often people like to grow a garden, right? Or have flowers, right? To make them more cheerful, to make them feel energetic and very optimistic about life, right? And I think the perfect flower that represents that is the sunflower. Right, especially in some countries like Japan, right? Sunflowers are always seen as being extremely optimistic because did you know a sunflower actually turns towards the sun during the day?
Yeah.
Right. And looking towards the sun is kind of like looking towards your bright future.
Yeah.
So there's a very good representation. Another one might be something like, in some cultures, the chrysanthemum is a very important flower, especially for things like funerals when people pass away.
Funeral.
Yeah. So flower colors are often
Okay.
representative in a lot of cultures and customs, right?
Yeah.
So the custom, for example, with chrysanthemums at funerals when somebody's passed away is usually to celebrate their life with white or yellow flowers.
Yes.
Depending on the culture.